Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. We continue our learning here midweek. We ask you to please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Gan Yisrael, for Shlem Chol P'tzui Yisrael. Return of our hostages, L'Kfuras Yisrael, hopefully one more coming home today. Let us hope and pray that takes place. And we learn each day Nishmat and Daniel Shuman Arav the Rom V'Shal Shem Kum Damo. The next chapter, Ad Masa Yama Berichuk Makom. Achar Shepasa Shalosh P'sius Lacharav. So as we discussed yesterday, taking the 3 steps back at the conclusion of Shemoneh Esreh, taking leave of your Tefillah. So after doing so, you should remain standing. And this is something that people either don't know or are not necessarily careful about, but one should actually stay standing in the 3 steps removed position. You don't go back right away. The Gemara has very strong things to say, the Gemara in Yuman and Gimel, that if a person does take the 3 steps back right away, you're like a dog that goes back to its kio, to its vomit, something like that. After you have taken leave of the king, you're going right back, and you're not doing anything. You don't realize you're making it apparent that you didn't realize that you were standing in front of the king. And with the 3 steps that you take, okay, you're making this separation. And then if you're taking them back, then it's considered a very degrading act. And also, people have this custom, this is great, because people always ask about this, is that after they go back to they take the 3 steps back, and they take 3 steps forward, they lift themselves up on their toes like people do during Kedusha. We say Kadosh, Kadosh. He goes, there is no reason for this whatsoever. So there's your answer. So therefore, what should you do then if you are not supposed to go back right away? So ideally, one should wait until Kedusha. Or at the very least until Chazaras Hashatz, the repetition begins. According to most poskim, you don't have to stay with your legs together, your feet together, after you finish saying Osa Shalom. It's in the Mishnah Brura. But some say that it's best to stand with your feet together until you go back to your place again at Kedusha. So then you'll ask the question, what if there's no Kedusha? Let's say you're davening by yourself. So if you're davening by yourself, it's best that you shouldn't return immediately to your place, again, taking the 3 steps forward. But rather, you should wait in your place after you took the 3 steps back to figure out how long it would take theoretically for the chazan to get Kedusha. Let's say about 30 seconds, a half a minute. In a time of great need, if you have to go back to your place, let's say you're pressed for time, you should wait at least the amount of time it takes to walk 4 amos, 6 feet. So that's obviously much shorter than half a minute, and then go back. The idea is to demonstrate that we're not rushing back, or that we understood where we were, where we left, and that we're not trying to nullify that reality. So let's say you're davening for the Amud, and then you have to start Chazaras Hashatz. So the Chazan, he's allowed, again, this is not even b'diavad, this is l'chatchila, so he can take the 3 steps back, wait a few seconds, however long it takes to walk Dalet Amos, and then go back to his place. Because he's not going back to nothing. He's going to say Chazaras Hashatz, so that's actually ideal, because he's going to be saying the repetition in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Or if, let's say, someone has to do a makeup Shemoneh Esreh for Tashlumin, let's say you missed the previous minyan and you get to make up Shemoneh Esreh, you should wait as long as it takes to walk the few steps, and then go back and say the second Shemoneh Esreh. B'siyum Chazaras Hashatz, what about the conclusion of the repetition if you're the Chazan? The Chazan does not have to take 3 steps back, because the full conclusion of the Tefillah is in when you say the tiskabel kaddish, the full kaddish towards the end of davening. Shebahu mevakesh yiskabel tefillah v'kashasenu, because you say tiskabel tzlos onevazahon. You're literally saying Hashem should answer our prayers and supplications. And at the conclusion of that kaddish, after saying please accept our tefillahs, then you take 3 steps back by saying Oseh Shalom at the end of kaddish. Even though there's some bit of an interruption between them, you are saying Tachnun, Ashrei Ve'Letzion, Uvmeisheni V'Chamishi Koran B'Torah. We have laning on Mondays and Thursdays. Mikol Makom Hapridim Mechazaras Hashatz Nasas B'Kadish Teskabel Shenemar Achar Ve'Letzion. Nevertheless, the Chazaras Hashatz is the separation is actually taking place, and the Kaddish Teskabel, which is after Ve'Letzion. So if that's the case, then if you're not going to take the 3 steps back, then you have to make sure not to make any interruptions until after Teskabel if you're the Chazan. Let me just add a couple of notes to this. Just something I once heard in the name of Rav Shechter, Rav Hershel Shechter of Sheshiva in YU. He once said that it depends on really what's in between, because we don't necessarily have the ability to hold our attention. So if there is a 3 steps back Kaddish, let's say Teskabel coming soon, let's say imagine it's after Mariv, and well, actually not Mariv, there's no Chazaras Hashatz, let's say after Mincha and there's a shorter time, it's just Tachnun, or if let's say there's no Tachnun, then you don't have to take the 3 steps back. But if there's more of an interruption, such as laning or Hallel or something like that, then you should. Also to bear in mind, sometimes someone else takes over, let's say for Ashrei. You say Tachnun, half Kaddish, and a different Shliach Tzibur takes it over for Ashrei. In that instance, you're not going to be the one, since you said Chazaras Hashatz, you're not going to be the one to say Teskabel. So in that instance, it would seem that you should take the 3 steps back as well, because you're not going to be doing that in Kaddish Teskabel. Again, whatever you do is kind of right. Generally, the practice is we sort of symbolically take the 3 steps back. There's nothing wrong with it. Malamed is saying you don't have to do it, but certainly I think one is allowed to do it. That's my own commentary. It's not written here in the Sefer, just being transparent about that and practical speaking. But again, always have questions, ask your local Orthodox rabbi. But please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah and Yisrael and for Shalom and Chol B'Tzvah Yisrael. Return of our hostages, Perez Yisrael. Nishmat Daniel Shemoneh Esreh. We'll take our 3 steps back from the recording today. We'll see you here tomorrow. Have a great day.